Welcome to Dead Headspace, a part of Silver Shamrock's Horrorcast, a podcast network that includes Killing Time with Silver Shamrock and Unburying the Dead, where we exhume classic horror paperbacks for the new generation. I'm your host, Patrick R. McDonough, joined always by my co-host, Brennan LaFaro. Say hi, Brennan.
Hello, everybody.
And returning guest host, Cassie Daly. Say hi, Cassie.
Hi.
As well as Erica Robbins. Say hi, Erica.
Hey, guys.
And today we are talking with author Shane Hawk. Say hi, Shane.
Hey.
Before we jump into... That's funny. Sly. Audio listener, Shane drank a coffee mug. So I guess I'll promote real quick. Go to deadheadspace.com. You can click the store tab to get my mug on a coffee mug or a few other items. Touche, sir. So before we jump into all about Shane... This is a kind of a special episode. That's why we got so many people on it. It is celebrating a few things, Shane Hawk and the show's first anniversary. With now we have recorded 94 episodes to date, and our 100th one will be next month. And who will that be? We'll tell you pretty soon. So I only got one question for it. That subject. What's the show mean to y'all? Shane, let's go with you first because you're the guest.
Yeah, I'm the guest.
Yep.
The show means a lot to me because I'm new to the horror gang, and it's let me into a lot of different writers' minds. Because your shows are a bit longer than other ones, and they're more relaxed, I guess, and not scripted. So you get to really see how writers are. You know, they kind of loosen up a bit. And it's been really fun to see, like, behind the scenes, I guess, when they get to explain their work. And, yeah, I listen to it whenever a new one drops.
Sweet. Thanks. Cassie or
Erica? So I didn't know I was supposed to be prepared for this question. You didn't tell me.
I didn't tell anyone.
He never does.
Is this, or do you mean like what it means like to me personally, like in general, or specifically like only listening to it or being on it, or?
All I thought about was like, I know we're mostly going to be talking about Shane. So I just wanted to kind of, that's the only question I had for it. That's the only thing that came to me.
And then I had to like grill you about the question. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Okay. So obviously it was the first podcast that I've ever been on. So I think it's pretty important because it's the first place that I ever felt comfortable doing that. And then also just now, like being on video, like I've talked to you guys before and it doesn't make me feel weird. So thanks. Nice. It means a lot because it makes me feel comfortable. So, and I like it. And like Shane was saying, there's a lot of stuff that I've learned from the episodes, like not just the ones that I've been on, but other ones too, that I wouldn't have known that stuff otherwise. So it's pretty cool.
Sweet. Erica.
Okay, so my answer is always like mirror Cassie's, but this was also the first podcast I'd ever been on, so that was really cool. And I know we've talked about this before, but I was super, super nervous coming on because I was listening to the show when you guys first started coming out with episodes, and I felt like a kind of a major fan of the show at first. So when you guys were like, oh, you want to be on it? I was like, no way. So thank you guys again for that opportunity. I've also, I don't know if this is going to come off as like really weird, but I'm just going to say it anyways. I used to hate my voice. If I heard my voice on recordings, I would freak out, and I've had to do recordings for work. And I was like, I can't watch it. No way. But I've been kind of forcing myself to watch the episodes that I've been on with you guys, and it's making me actually appreciate my voice, which is nice.
Good. Yeah, you have a nice voice, so yeah.
Yeah, your voice is good. I don't know what you. I mean, I understand hating your own voice because I hate mine. So I'm like, yeah, I'm right there with you. But yours is, I'm like, yeah, you got a good voice.
Oh, thank you. Well, you know how it always sounds like totally different in your head? I like the way my voice sounds in my head. So obviously hearing it out loud is very different, but I'm trying to meet in the middle with those two.
It took me years to get used to mine. I don't give a shit anymore. I mean, it is what it is. But it takes a little getting used to for everyone, I would think. Brennan, what's it mean to you, sir?
Well, first of all, I'm just going to drop, Erica, I love that you shared that. I think that's awesome. And that's Yeah, it's awesome. And Shane, I apologize that you got thrown in there first because we invited you on to basically say, hey, why don't you start out by saying nice things about us?
Buy some merch.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have a mug.
I love how he casually just does. You know what? New listeners are going to be like, this guy is so fucking egotistical. I mean, if Brennan and me started out together, it would have been our faces, but it didn't start out that way.
It's too late now. You
I'm
can't
never
just
going to
add
put
him on or
mine
anything.
on there too because I want you to look bad. I want you to look egotistical.
I do a good job at that. Brennan, answer the fucking question.
So I've shared before that before the opportunity came up to be on here and co-host this is not something I would have actively sought to do. And it just, with being sent home, because we recorded, even though the first episode aired around May 27th. Am I making that up?
Nope, that's right.
We recorded for the first time back in March of 2020, and I think we might have recorded within a week of me being sent home from work for the foreseeable future, which obviously ended up being like 6 months. And it just seemed like something cool to do. And now, I've been back at work since September, and it's not just a pandemic thing. I'm really enjoying this. I love getting to talk to authors and pick their brain. And I can honestly say that, the gains I've made in writing would not even be, it sounds egotistical. And, I usually leave that to you, Pat, but the gains I've made in writing and, just being able to understand where I need to improve, where my weaknesses are and what I do well, they're going to be, just not even close to where they are now without all of the help that, people who are a lot smarter and more talented than I am have come on and willingly offered. So how about you, Pat?
I started out simply wanting a way to kind of separate myself from other authors, and podcast was like, I talk a lot and let's give it a shot. And I did my homework and I just tried, standing out basically and kind of giving myself a fan base before I had my debut out. But then you and I talked and it turned into that. And then we had Cassie and then Erica, and then we've had others on, and we will next season too. And it's turned into something like I've had people message me privately where it's actually helped them during some pretty rough times. That was never a thought, and it's turned into a whole thing where I feel like it's an inclusive show. And we listen to I'm just looking at mosquito. It's all good. It's turned into so much more than entertainment. It is entertainment, but thanks to all the people we've talked to, I've come to think of this show as a way where you can take a snippet of time in the horror genre, and it's all on record right here, from guys like Ramsey Campbell to newer folks like ourselves. And I'm going to do this for as long as I can, and it's my goal to kind of be a documentarian for this genre and to help people if I can. So it's gone beyond entertainment, and I love that. And I've made friends. We're all friends.
Speaking of that, I'd love to add one more thing if you're okay with it.
It doesn't matter. You gotta say it.
And as soon as I do, you're gonna feel like a real dick for throwing that out. So I mean, the last couple weeks have not been super easy. I've shared a lot. We adopted a dog a couple months ago. Found out that he had heartworm, and essentially went from he's in his heart is failing to his lungs are also failing, and we're just not going to have him for very long. And it's even with all of that other stuff, he's been declining. He's not doing good this week. And maybe it's just temporary. We don't know. He'll be at the vet in a couple days, and we'll know a little bit more. But every single person who's on this call tonight, all four of you, I counted right, yeah. Personally have reached out, just to check in on me. And that's something that I've made those relationships through this show, gotten legitimate friendships just from meeting people through outreach through this show that have done more to reach out and say, hey man, how you doing, are you okay, than the people I see in my everyday job. And that means the world to me, and it doesn't happen without this show, without this show's genesis.
That's pretty awesome.
You feel like a dick?
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like
Okay.
a dick for a lot of things. That's just that, and on top of it, yeah, that's really. I don't know what else to add to that. I don't know how to segue. So, does anyone have anything else, or do we want to dive into what got Shane into horror?
I have a question.
Go for it, buddy.
So when are you gonna get Chuck Palahniuk on?
Chuck Palahniuk, or is that his cousin?
Yeah, it's a troll. I'm sorry.
We have
No,
had
but that
we have had a Charles Palahniuk on.
Yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah,
was my
that'll
favorite
have to do for
episode.
now. Yep.
Oh, cool.
I
Cool,
just wanted
yeah.
to shout him out because that was my favorite episode so far.
Yeah, he. It took two of us to keep a conversation with him going because we're like half as smart as a quarter of his brain.
Thanks for looping me in there.
I had to. All right, so Shane, what got you into horror?
Let's see. A bunch of things.
Interesting. Next, no,
like
just
scary
kidding.
scary
Joking.
movies on the TV channels and watching them and getting scared. One major one was Chucky. That didn't get me into horror, but it made me like scared of things. And slowly I started getting into darker things like I think I said on Chris Morsels. That's a different podcast.
Plug it. Eric's a friend.
Yeah, Eric is awesome. If you don't know him yet, Eric Raglan.
Raglan. Yep.
Raglan, yeah. And I don't know, like just really got into it through movies. As a kid, yeah, I read Goosebumps, but it was more about horror cinema. And my dad let me watch movies that I shouldn't have at early ages. And there's a whole list of ones that I watched before I was like 12 or 10 that I shouldn't have. But yeah, that's what really got me into it, was just scary movies.
Anyone want to jump in?
What, do you have the list? Because you said there's a whole list. Do you have it like handy with you?
Yeah, hold on. Chucky, Friday the 13th. That's about it.
Oh, it's a short list then.
All right,
Okay.
so Shane,
Thank you. I was waiting for you to jump in.
see, this is the perils of having. Was it 4 people? No, it's 5 people.
Yeah.
They don't all show up on my screen. This is terrible. So,
Uh-oh.
Shane, you
Am I on
gave us
there?
kind of the lowdown of what got you into. I'm just going to talk over you. It's fine. Of what got you into horror, but you're relatively new to actually writing it. So,
Yeah.
what kind of ignited that? What made you want to start?
Probably Stephen Graham Jones, because he showed me that you can be indigenous and write some creepy stuff. And my first book that I read from him was Mapping the Interior, put out by Tor. And you guys had Ellen Datlow on here, right?
Yeah.
And I think she edited that one. And that one like really spoke to me on different levels. I have a brother who has special needs, and that was like a harrowing story. So that was like the summer of 2019, and right then I decided I wanted to be a writer. And I wrote like 2 short stories. They're really just flash pieces. They were awful. I actually put them I put them on Amazon, and because I wanted to see what the process was like of being a self-published person, instead of just watching a YouTube video, which I should have. And I put them on there. I sold like 7 copies to randos. Made a bunch of money from that. What is it? 30% from the 99 cent royalty. And yeah, I then I got into the teaching credential program over here in San Diego, and I really wanted to write a collection. Um, but then the credential program got in the way, so that sucked because it kind of sucks the life out of you. Um, so I postponed it, and then I was like, maybe next summer. And then next summer is when, well, 2020, fast forwarding, that's when I joined the House Society, which is like a book club through Discord. Started on Horror Lit, the subreddit. And I saw Alex Wolfgang. He published by himself Splinter and Other Stories. And I really liked the artwork. And he was telling me he did it all himself, not the artwork, but the whole book. And I was like, wow, you can really, write something, put it out in the world, and get Amazon ratings and have people read it. And so that was like early July. Like 2 weeks later, I commissioned the cover of Anoka, and I was like, let's start writing this thing. So that's what really got me into it, was a mixture of SGJ and my friend Alex Wolfgang.
I like that you started off with the cover and kind of almost used it as inspiration. It's like, now I've got this thing, so
Yeah.
I have to write it. I'm stuck. I can't just, sit down and plug, half of it away at a computer and then forget it because I got busy. Like, I have to complete this thing.
Right. So that was the drawback of it, was creating a pre-order on Amazon and setting myself a deadline with something that's not written yet. Um, that was pretty stupid. Um, because I've told other people that I lost 5 stories. Anoka was going to be like twice as long. Um, there's a lot of cool stories in there that I lost, but oh well. And so yeah, on the wall behind me, you can see there's a printing on the wall because I love the art so much, and it was really cool going through that process of him making it all the way over in Poland. So he just made it through email, and he figured it out himself.
Do you save your work on like multiple type ways now? I can't think.
Yeah, so I definitely have different ways of saving now. And I guess I'll let the cat out of the bag here. Maybe Bill Gates is going to find me. But I was using a pirated version of Word. And so if you use a pirated version of Word, you don't have an online, cloud for saving. So I was saving it to my iCloud folder, which is a workaround.
Yeah.
And so for those 5 stories, somehow the save as got put on my local hard drive. And so for the next 5 stories, I just saved them on my computer. And my MacBook decided to kill itself. Maybe because my writing was bad. I don't know. But yeah, committed suicide, and I was like, gotta get a new computer.
That's harsh.
And yeah, I drive computers to suicide. It's pretty bad.
Well, your writing does.
Yeah. Well,
Let's clarify here.
Yeah.
I just saw that
Shane,
movie.
I will warn you that Bill Gates does occasionally listen to the show. He's caught a few episodes. He's reached out. So, if we see that door bust down mid-episode, we'll know why.
Oh yeah, I know him personally. I call him Billy.
Isn't like that, so that just proved that you don't know him.
Yeah.
I just saw that movie, The Mitchells versus the Machines, or something like that. I don't know if you guys saw it on Netflix. It's this animation, End of the World, where technology takes over the human race, and that just made me think of that, Shane. That you're going to be the hero of this story.
Was that sponsored by Microsoft?
No, that's Steve Jobs. The ghost of Steve Jobs actually sponsored that. So 0 for 2, sir. And if I seem a little defensive with Shane, it's because he's my buddy, and I can't tell when he's fucking with me sometimes. So
it's an art form.
I try throwing jabs back every now and then. Erica, Erica or Cassie, why don't you take over? Me and Brennan have talked a little bit.
Oh, I got one. You kind of answered my original question because I wanted to ask you what the process of designing the cover was like.
Uh-oh.
But yeah. But other than that, like the cover, I saw that you did a a Twitter thread where you were trying to pick the font of what you used on the cover.
Yeah.
I may be misremembering, but I feel like your original one didn't get a lot of feedback, and you're like, well, so how did you end up like choosing all the elements that went into the illustration on the cover?
So the werewolf was always going to be on it. I really wanted a werewolf no matter what. Because of mongrels, again, SGJ, he's in my life all the time.
Does Tori know?
Oh, she knows.
Okay.
He's all up in my emails. But he chose for the trees to be sideways, like kind of slanted, because he's an artist and I'm not. Well, I guess I create different art, but not that type. And I definitely wanted it to be leaning over a white-tailed deer or a stag or something. And the original design, I think I posted on Twitter, was going to be in the sky. It was going to be a jack-o'-lantern with the moon was going to be the eye. The other eye was going to be like what do you call a collection of bats?
I don't know.
A murder? Let's go with that.
That's
so
crows.
Not a murder of crows, but a murder of bats.
Okay.
Does sound cooler
Yeah.
than whatever the real answer is.
Yeah. Jamie,
really
can you pull that up?
Can somebody just look it up? I'm so curious.
Yeah, Google.
Yeah, Jamie.
Give me a second. Yeah, he's. I don't know if they watch that podcast. What is it? What is a gang of bats?
It's a gang.
Oh, now they're a gang now?
If it's something really dumb, I'm gonna be sad.
Well, it's still a cool name. A group of bats, sometimes called a cauldron. Bat groups are also called a colony when a large.
No, not colony. Stop. Just stop at cauldron. Just leave it
It's
there.
cauldron.
Yeah.
See, this is why people tune in, because the more you know.
Like super short show? Is that where?
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, the original idea was a jack-o'-lantern in the sky. If you look at the cover, yeah, I'm not going to pull the book out.
It's hard to see it because your filter's black and white and the book cover's black. Erica's got it. Nice.
My whole life is monochrome.
It's black, white, and red actually, because there's like it's pink a little bit.
That's true. Nice.
That's my chapstick. So if you look at the top branch there, that's sort of like a stem of a pumpkin, and the original design was going to have the moon eye, the cauldron of bats as a second eye, and then the teeth, the creepy teeth, were going to spell Anoka. And that didn't really work out. It was really hard to pull off, to be honest, which is totally fine. So I was like, let's not go with that, I guess. Let's just, drop that entire idea that I wasted your time with, and let's just make the moon an O. And then I think it worked out because it's really easy to read as even a thumbnail on Amazon, what the title says. And the other way was the teeth kind of look like metal band script, which is kind of hard to read. It's illegible. So I was like, maybe this is smarter anyway. So I just went that way. And it was really a fun process, though.
It is good when people can read what you want them to know about. So I guess we're talking about Anoka now. Let's dive into that.
I've heard of that.
Cassie, what are your thoughts on it?
You keep putting me on the spot when I'm not expecting it, and I'm
Brennan.
No, I can answer the question. I wasn't prepared. I thought. Look, okay, all right. I really liked it. So when I started reading it, I was actually I'm going to read the first story and then I'm going to I'll finish it later because at that time I still had a day or so of the podcast or before the previous rescheduling. And then I ended up just reading through the whole thing because I couldn't stop. So it was really good. I couldn't I struggle with short story collections a lot of the time because sometimes people, I don't know. And I'm not even thinking of any one in particular. It's just sometimes even with one writer's stories, they're so varied that it's really difficult for me to keep my attention to it, from story to story. Yeah. So I'll be I love this one. I love this one. But these next four are losing me and I don't want to read any more of this book. Yeah, and that never happened with this one. So I was yes. it wasn't like it's not a big chunky boy, which maybe because of the 5 stories that you lost, maybe it would have been bigger. But like as it stands, my attention span right now is really, really not great. So having something that was like manageable and not super intimidating was very appreciated.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Because like we read, I mean, all of us are reviewers or whatever, and I don't know what the fuck I am. I don't know if I'm a reviewer anymore. But yeah, there's a lot of books to read. So like when you get one that's that size, it's just it's kind of appreciated, I guess is the best word.
It's
Because
a gift from the devil.
Yeah, because we caught you right at your foundation. But we'll get into your projects, the other projects later. Erica, is there any other questions, or Cassie or Brennan, that you want to talk about Anoka?
I guess I don't really have questions. I have more comments, if you don't mind.
Comment away.
Sure. So 2 things. One of my favorite things about this collection specifically was that each story had a different feel to it and different topics and things like that, but they also blended together really well. Did you have like a master? Oh, I do have a question apparently. Did you have like a master outline for this collection where you're like, oh, okay, I want the overall collection to feel this way to the reader?
I definitely went with the themes of family and grief, and identity. Those are the main ones. So I was trying to like put that into each one. Like even Orange, which is just a guy talking to you. He reveals family stuff at the end. Um, but yeah, I mean, I didn't have a master plan for like all the stories. The whole thing was pantsed or pantser, that style. Uh, and I had no skeleton to build off of. I just went where I went, and yeah, I. The only deliberate thing I guess was maybe the length of the 2 short ones, the flash ones. I did that because no one I know really reads. They'll read like the type of friends that says, "Oh yeah, I read before. I read Harry Potter." Um, and that's kind of like everyone. Everyone's read Harry Potter almost, maybe except for Patrick. Um,
I actually only read the first book, so good catch.
um, and so I wanted to make something appealing to my friends and family who like just either hate reading or they don't know how fun it can be or they just don't do it because they don't have time. So that's why I opened with Soilborn, which is only like I don't know what's it's like 1,500 words, um, and that's why I opened with that one. And then I hit you with Wounded, which is really sad, super sad and long. And then I hit you with Orange, which is another shorty. And that was the only really deliberate thing, just appealing to my friends and family who do not read.
Sure, that's awesome. I was just reading over my review as you were listing off all the titles and all of my little blurbs, because I review like each story as I go with collections.
Mm-hmm.
Each one pretty much says, oh my gosh, the ending, like again, killer ending, again, that ending, what happens next? So I really appreciate the way that you write, and it's so like heart-wrenching at times, and then the end happens. So I'm just like, whoa.
Thank you.
That was my second comment. That's all I had.
Just
Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah, just whoa.
Whoa. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with the endings. I really like short stories that have little twists. Sometimes it's hard to like foreshadow a twist enough where it's not a surprise or you don't feel slapped by the author. And then if you foreshadow too much, then it's predictable. And I still struggle with that. I'm new. But it was really fun writing all those endings, especially Transfigured. That was very ambiguous, and I know I left people wanting more because I did plan on writing like maybe like a novelette, um, but then kind of plans are changing with that because I landed an agent somehow, some mysterious way, and I can't really focus on making like novelettes or short stories right now. So I have to focus on other things. But yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that a little bit later. So let's talk about the introduction.
Let's talk about it.
Okay. Well, you, you
Doesn't
tell
count
us.
as a question, Pat.
All right, we'll start with this. You picked Anoka. We know why we read the book, but can you explain to people that haven't potential readers why you chose Anoka?
Yeah, I was doing research. I wanted everything to take place in kind of like one little town or city, just because that's always fun. Stephen King does it, and Matthew M. Bartlett. They all have their kind of little stories that happen all around the same place. Similar themes. And so I was researching, um, and I came across Anoka, which is pretty cool because my family's from Minnesota, my maternal family, and I didn't know until after I told them my plans about writing the short story collection that my grandma and mom actually lived in Anoka, and um, I don't even think I put that in the intro because I already wrote the intro before I knew about it. So my mom was in the Halloween parade before, and they lived there for a couple years, and um, it just really stood out. Once you research it, you find out that it's supposedly the Halloween capital of the world. Because back in, I believe it was 1920, um, kids were just terrible. They were on Halloween. They'd go out and they'd put soap on windows. Apparently, that was a terrible thing back then, but you get some clean windows the next day, probably. Um, or they would just cause all this havoc. And so I guess the townspeople, or I guess it's a city now, they all came together and said, what can we do to have these whippersnappers off the streets? So they came up with a street parade, which doesn't make sense, but uh, they made them all dress up in, Halloween costumes and have fun. And it's been that way since 1920. So last year, it was going to be the 100th one, but obviously COVID happened, so I'm not actually sure what happened. But there's all these collectibles about the 100th anniversary and stuff. But I think it's on for this year.
That's interesting. Halloween Town. That's a good movie.
It's more than one movie.
I like the
There's
first
a
one.
series.
Yeah. I only
I
know. I've only seen the first two. I don't know the others.
I love that the first one won Best Picture. Like, I couldn't believe that when it happened.
I believe that. It's a good movie.
Yeah,
It is pretty good.
I'll watch it. That and Hocus Pocus go tos. So, want to tell us a little bit more about the introduction at all? You said you don't talk about your grandmother, but I can't remember on the top of my head. Don't you talk about your grandfather at one point?
I probably do.
All right, I'm going to stop quizzing you on this. Let's just jump to the very last story I would like to talk about. If anyone else wants to talk about others, just jump in. But Transfigured, I liked how it's all kind of like rushed dialogue or narrative rather.
Mhm.
Um, was that the purpose? Was there a purpose behind that?
Can you define rush dialogue?
Well, it's not like complete sentences. It's not like I am doing this. It's it's just like felt real bad. Took off coat, ran away. It's like
Yeah,
stage
yeah.
direction, pretty much.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that in a few of the other ones too. It's mostly how my dad talks to me. I don't know.
Hmm.
It's he cuts off, all the pronouns, and he always says "seen" instead of "I saw that." He says "seen that" or something like that. And so I don't know. I love that voice, and I decided to go with it. And I don't know, like in my head, like I like informal writing, that doesn't get all flowery and stuff. It just feels like the narrator is talking to you.
Mhm.
It just kind of feels natural, I guess, which some people disagree with. But that's fine.
Nice.
I
Those
kind of
people are
interpreted.
wrong.
Oh, Cassie, go ahead. Sorry. And you.
No, it's just the way he said it. He's like, some people disagree, and I was just like, those people are wrong.
When I read like the way you set it up, I it made me think of like noir or like a 30s hard-boiled detective, the way that you'd have that first person narration kind of clipping everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, I liked that effect too. That's what I thought you were going for.
Yeah, subconsciously, it might have been influenced also again by SGJ, that pesky guy, because his early writings were all noir. That's where he got his start. And I've been reading over well, the past pandemic, I guess, um, a collection by Theodore C. Van Aus Jr. He's going to be my co-editor on the upcoming anthology that we'll talk about. But he edited like a whole collection of different SGJ stories and excerpts from his books from his earlier days. And so I was going through that, and it probably seeped into my writing because I don't know. I love that guy.
Nice.
Well,
So, Pat, do you have a follow-up on that?
I was just gonna say I got nothing left for Anoka. It's up to you guys if you want to talk about that book anymore, or we move on.
All right. Well, I have a question. I'll ask it slowly while Shane slowly sips his coffee or whatever he's drinking. So as a rule, I assume most people, when they start a collection, they go straight through unless they're a sadist or something like that. But if somebody was just looking to read one story, kind of sample your work, which one would you throw them at?
Um, hmm. Probably one of the Flash ones, just because people are busy. I'd give them either Soilborn or Orange, to be honest. We're all busy, and if you say, "Hey, can you read this for me?" Uh, Depending on the length, man, I have things to do. So if it's like something that's 2 pages that they could read while they go to the bathroom, not that people do that, but you can kind of get your story out there quicker.
Now, length is definitely good, but you also mentioned that you probably spent more time going over with a fine-tooth comb those two stories than any of the other ones in the collection. Does that
Yeah,
figure into like, yeah, this is short, you can read it while you go to the bathroom if that's your thing, but also it's super polished.
yeah, true. Um, I think I spent the most time on those because Flash is like totally different um, than just a simple short story. Obviously, you have uh, way fewer words, and I think I said in the story notes, like it was so incredibly hard to like make people have an emotional reaction in both of them. If I didn't take that machete and cut all the fat off.
Hmm.
Um, so like I really focused on word economy. Obviously, you have to. So that kind of sounds stupid now that I say it. Yeah, flash fiction has word economy. Wow. Um, but I really focused on it. Uh, I also ran it by a couple people um, that kind of helped with, adding details and stuff. But deliberately telling people to check those out because they're more polished, I guess that works in my favor.
Perfect. Does anyone have anything that they want to say about Anoka before we move on to the next time?
No, just that your choice to do that paid off, because that is probably why I was able to start it and then just keep going through it, because I felt so productive after the first two stories. And I was like, oh, I'm flying through this and I've only got a little bit left. I just keep going.
Yeah.
There we go.
So the Howl Society, you mentioned that earlier. Can you expand on that a little bit more? Besides, it's a group that talks on Discord. I know that there's works on an anthology, so if you want to start talking about that too, that'd be great.
Yeah, so 4 score and 7 years ago, there was a subreddit called r/horror lit, and Grady Hendrix was one of the moderators. I think he still is, but he's busy. Um, and during the pandemic last year, I think it was in March, someone from there named Emily, we call her the Sleeping Queen, because she set up House Society and then she disappeared. So she's in slumber somewhere.
She alive or?
Well, now that I think about that, now I feel like a dick. because she might be dead. So Emily might be dead, Sleeping Queen.
A long nap.
She
So about the anthology or the book.
Thank you, Cassie.
there's just a bunch of horror nerds on that subreddit that said, "Hey, let's start a book club." So it started like that. I joined in early. It was actually July 4th. Um, I remember that was the day that Flaming was it Flaming Tree Press, Flame Tree Press put out
Yep.
like a $4 paperback sale. I bought like every Jonathan Jan's book. Still haven't read them. Sorry, Jonathan. Um, and
Jokes on you. He doesn't listen to the show, so
all right.
I'm just kidding. He might. I
Sorry
don't
anyway, Jans.
know.
And so I met a bunch of cool people on there. Like I said, Alex Wolfgang, and others. And uh, it started out just as a book club, simple discussions every week. And now it's grown into some amorphous, like crazy blob that's taken over horror. Maybe that's kind of over sketching it, but we're doing an anthology. All the arcs are out. Some people have read it and liked it. I think it's already at like 50 reviews, which is pretty cool. Um, and I mean, I should start with what the hell it is, right? Howl Society, horror obsessed writing and literature society. It sounds a little snobbish. I agree. No one said it, but I brought it up. Howl Society. We are a society of writers and literature readers, and no, but we have a lot of fun on there. A lot of book discussions. We talk about movies, games. We actually started gaming recently. We play and stream on Twitch and stuff. Um, but yeah, we're already planning on the second anthology. People are already drafting their stories for it, and we'll see who we can get for the forward for that one.
I forgot to unmute myself. Sorry. Um,
Wow.
let's talk. Let's talk about that anthology, though, man. Isn't that the one where Grady's involved with?
Yeah, so Solomon Force, he is the guy who basically runs Howl Society now, or Howls for short. Um, and he reached out to Grady because obviously he had a connection from um, the subreddit to the Discord because he's a moderator over there. So he asked his permission if he could write the forward or whatever, and Grady was like, maybe. No, I don't. I forget what the conversation was like. He was really nice, and he wrote like a really beautiful forward. To be honest, if you read it, it's like a good. I don't know. It's like a little essay in itself about the love of horror in your childhood and stuff. And I forgot what your question was, but I'm gonna keep rambling about the anthology. There's 16 writers, including myself, so 15 and a random guy with lipstick. And uh, I wrote a cool story for it. It has nothing to do with indigenous people or subjects or anything. It's like an audio transcript of a therapy session in the 1940s. So it's kind of like detective work, kind of, but not really. Some people like it, some people don't. That's how life goes. And and yeah, it was really cool working with all the writers. We each did 3 rounds of editing. So we'd all be assigned 3 stories, and then I think it was like a 2 week window, and you'd have to read the story and put your notes on Google Docs and fill out a form. And we worked on characterization, dialogue, if it sucked or not. No, just kidding. But that was a really fun process, and I think toward the end, I caught COVID or something in December, and I was on oxygen tanks, and I was still, please let me hit the stores, and they're like, nah, bruh, you get you again. So that was fun. Next question.
I have a random one. Have you guys started working on blurbs, and is your grandma gonna write a blurb for this one?
Yeah. Wait, for the current anthology or the next one?
Either or both.
Yeah. For blurbs, we got 4. I'm not gonna call him out, but I asked Gabino, he didn't do it. But
Oh
I
shit!
got Laurel Hightower.
Shots fired.
Shots fired, hermano.
Gabino's not busy or anything.
No, I know that guy. How does he do it?
I don't.
He's like, yeah, I just edited and workshopped like 49 students' work, and I just edited 2 anthologies, and I just shot a movie. No, but he's awesome. So I got Laurel Hightower, Sina Paleo, uh, and Stephen Graham Jones to blurb it,
Nice.
and my friend Chris O'Halloran. He's from Canada, and I don't know why I said that. That's like his main identifier. Uh, he got
Oh, the
JD.
Canadian. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think he drinks maple syrup. So he got JD Horn to do a blurb, and it was pretty cool. Like all these people were very very excited to do it, and they turned it in on time, and yeah,
We're talking about the Grady Hendrix anthology, right?
I think so. No, I was talking about Midnight and the Pentagram.
Like, dude, I can't. I can't fucking pay attention when you're texting me, and I thought it was just due to like text-based conversation.
Yeah, I wasn't texting.
I know. Okay, look.
That
we're
was
getting
my-
I know.
lost.
I just checked my phone. I was like, "Excuse me, there's no text here. What are you talking about?"
No, but like, and now I can't. It's the same effect that I have. I'm tired, dude. I had a fucking stomach
These
bug a few
lies are
days
so
ago.
easy to verify.
Look, just go. and
Listeners at
talk.
home, I do not apologize
For what?
Anything?
for trolling this entire episode.
See,
Are you
here it
kidding?
is.
You're getting darker and darker the whole time. It just your
Yeah,
screen's gonna be black eventually.
I went to the beach. I got some tan. No.
It looks like you're being swallowed by darkness. Like it looks dangerous. Like there's people getting you.
I guess you could say that.
You know, Shane did give me a fair warning that he said he would troll me on my show and he would troll you guys. So I should have picked up on that.
Yeah, like so the greatest rock band of all time is not Led Zeppelin.
Who is it?
So it's Aerosmith
Oh God.
with lead guitarist Angus Young.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, Brennan.
You know, I just made me think. I was at work the other day, and this doesn't relate to Shane's writing at all, but I'm going to tell it anyway because
All right, sounds good.
that's the kind of episode we're having. And I was, in front of a class. I was just kind of fiddling around with my guitar, and I played "Stairway to Heaven." And the teacher in the room was like, "Oh, I love that song. What is it?" I said, "Well, it's Stairway to Heaven." She said, "Oh, I don't know who that's by." It's like, oh, come on. You can't do that. You're not, these kids are in kindergarten. They can do that. But, you're in your 30s. You can't do that.
It's actually a song by Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
The listeners don't know.
I have the symbols of Led Zeppelin on my calf, and I often wear shorts. And a guy my age walked behind me and was like, "Oh, what's that?" I'm like, "Oh, it's from Led Zeppelin's 4th album." And I just nodded my head because I didn't know what else to do. And he said, "Not sure who they are." I'm like, all right, goodbye. Like,
In fact, those symbols are for Billie Eilish.
no, like, come on,
It's
man.
true.
You've never
It's
even
true.
heard of them? It's silly.
I thought you said cymbals, like the musical, like instrument, like cymbals, and I was like,
That's
Oh,
actually what I
"What
thought
on your
too.
leg?" Yeah,
can't-
I was like, that sounds painful. What are you doing,
yeah.
Patrick?
What's happening over there? Are you okay?
I'm a drummer, so I mean, tattoos of symbols would actually make sense.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
getting way off track. Shane, ask your
There-
next Shane.
there
Ask your
is
next
no track.
question to the guest host today. Is Michael Douglas Wilson? I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Someone just talk.
Michael, where are you?
So Shane, I if I missed it, I apologize. But when is that out?
Oh, when's it out? I don't know. So
Seems like the type of
Eventually, at
preparation
some
you should have
point.
done before you asked that question.
no, it's out May 18th, 2021, which is the current year. If you didn't know, time is weird these days.
I mean,
Mm.
someone could
But
be listening to this years later.
it's true.
Yeah,
Yeah. So May 18th, 2021,
you don't have to talk
the
louder.
anthology is dropping.
You don't have to
He
And
just
do
gets really close and he's like, "You guys need to hear this. It's really important."
it.
I was just trying to get my ASMR career off the ground here.
Whoa, sorry. I
So
didn't mean to interrupt with my bubbliness.
Yeah,
so
that's
we're
rude, Shane.
doing a Zoom release party
Shane, you're
on
talking too
May
loud.
18th, and that
What?
is when the
Huh?
anthology is releasing. May 18th, 2021. Howls from Hell, published by How Society Press.
Nice.
Woo.
I've never had this silly of an episode before. We got 20 more minutes and we'll hit an hour mark, so just make us last for that and get the fuck off.
Oh
Oh
my
This is
God,
the
you're so
one-year
rude
anniversary.
tonight.
What, Cassie?
I just look at how this frames me. If I don't move this way and you can't see the TV, it's like I have like it's really nice. Sorry.
You have
I
nice
agree.
bookshelves.
Very colorful.
No, yeah, I like the color coordination.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because it just like if I'm like this, well, hang on, no, like this.
I see. Yeah, the TV's distracting now.
I know.
Yeah,
Next time, I'll do
the
better.
audio listeners are like, wow, this is interesting. This is crazy. What position is she in?
Well, dude, honestly, if someone's listening to at this point, they're either new or they're just like in it, I guess. I don't know. So let's get to getting an agent. That's exciting. I mean, you got one book that's like, I guess, all right, called Anoka.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
It's all right. And
It's aight.
that's, and I don't mean to say this in a like a rude way, but I
Uh-oh.
might. But that's the only
Uh-oh.
book you get out, and you get an agent. That's awesome, man. Seriously, that's something that people take years to get. Can
Yeah.
you,
I'm sorry. It's just the strangest way you could have worded that, Pat. I think that was so weird. Like, was that a compliment?
I don't know. I'm so fucking tired right
I
now.
think so.
I'm still dealing with that fucking stomach bug too. So I'm
I'm
warm.
sorry. I
Oh,
didn't
it's
mean to
all
make
good.
fun of you.
No, I'm just gonna go throw up real quick.
Come
No, I'm
on.
kidding. I haven't thrown up in 2 days, so I'm good. TMI. Yeah, tell us the process of getting an agent. I'm not cutting any of this out, by the way.
Yeah, so the process. What was the process, Shane? So the process was I'm putting together an dark fiction anthology of all Indigenous writers, right? And so by this time, I've got maybe 10 people on the docket. And some of the last ones, like I asked all the other ones directly, like on Twitter DMs or just a quick email. And they're like, yes, let's do it. Okay. And the other ones have agents. And, I'm like new to everything. So I'm like, oh, I got to talk to an agent before I talk to you. So I saved them for last. And then they actually answered probably faster than the authors. So I should have done that first. So I contacted Cherie Demeline. She is an Indigenous female writer. She has books out like The Marrow Thieves, which is crazy good, The Empire of Wild, and she actually has a sequel coming for The Marrow Thieves. And I had to contact the agent. I guess she's my agent now, Rachel. Hey, Rachel. And
She doesn't listen to the show, man.
oh, I will send her the link.
I was gonna say she's probably gonna listen to this one at least. Come on.
I normally wanted to reply with so many stupid things, but like Shane's just his dumb energies bouncing off.
No, Rachel's gonna be like, "Wow, maybe I should find a new client." No. So I asked for her to be in the anthology, and I mentioned that I was working with Gabino. He offered to try to help me find a publisher. So this all happened really fast. The idea came about December 29th, kind of like when I woke up from COVID.
Oh my god.
I put it, yeah, I put a tweet out there. It somehow got like, I don't know, 800 likes and like retweets or something, which is like viral to me because I'm a nobody. Gabino was gonna help me find a publisher, most likely like an indie press. And then our conversations got bigger. It was maybe like a one book deal agent, possibly one that works with the HWA a lot. And I was like, wow, okay. So we're in talks like that and emails. Um, and like in that process, it was taking too long to get an answer back from that person. So, um, my heart goes out to Gabino for trying to help us. I know he's super busy, but I was like, I'll try to take the reins and try to hustle and do something because that's his advice anyway, to always hustle. So I
To
told this to
hustle.
the yeah, yeah, kids will know what that song is. It's an old one. Um,
It's corny.
but I threw it out there that we were looking for representation in the email, and we were kind of struggling at the point. And she answered in like 23 hours, which seems fast. And she said, Sheree would really like to do it. And you also mentioned that you're looking for representation. Would you be interested in me being your agent? And I was like, what? Like, you want to be my agent? What are you talking about? Did you email the wrong person? I think you did. And I think I was at school at the time. I work at a high school. Hopefully, they don't cancel me. But uh, I kind of had a heart attack, like a mini little heart attack. I had to go to the bathroom, and I was like, oh my God. An agent said that she wants to represent me. I don't know if this is normal, and I don't think it is. And I replied back, maybe. Uh, and then,
Wait, really?
yeah, just one word, maybe, period. And then I let her stew in it for, a few weeks. No, I said, I immediately said, that would be amazing. Sheree's awesome. I love her work. And I'd be really interested in, your representation. And then we set up a phone call. And then, yeah, she told me how much she liked Anoka. And that was kind of crazy to hear from an agent. And I was like, is this real life? And it was really shocking because I don't feel like that amazing or good enough to have an agent still. And I was really grateful for that to happen. And so we've been on a few phone calls, mostly emails, and uh, I think I with her late February. So between like the between the idea for the anthology and getting an agent to represent it was, I think it was like 2 months. And then now it is May 2nd. This is a recording from the past. Today is May 27th. No, just kidding. But
Don't do
sorry,
that to me,
guys.
man.
Unless you're not listening to it on May 27th, in which case it's whatever day you're listening to it on.
No one's
Consult
Pat
listening.
the
has so much
calendar.
trouble already with his calendar and his dates that if you give Pat a different date, he might actually think it's May 27th. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
It's true. Okay, I
Like
won't
a
do it.
hamster. Don't do that to me.
Oh God, we're recording with Tim Meyer tomorrow, and I haven't finished that book.
That book's so fucking big.
Yeah, I only saw the cover and then I saw someone post a picture of it sideways and I was like, oof, that's a thick boy.
I'm only 10%
Um,
in, man. Don't do that to me.
oh, you
Okay,
got
so we
this.
all interrupted you. Go ahead, Shane.
Sorry.
Oh, it's totally fine.
Erica didn't.
It's true. She's so polite.
Are you sure you're not Canadian? So, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So now it's May 2nd. Right now, this very second, it's May 2nd, and I'm about to get the final notes on the proposal that I wrote. It's about 8 pages, single space, which was a lot of work. I've never written a proposal before, obviously. But she said it was actually really good to start out with, so I was surprised about that. But we are literally on the brink of shopping it out to. She gave me a list, and most of them are traditional publishing houses. Like there's Simon and Schuster in there. There's Penguin. So it's definitely going to be picked up in the first round. I'm pretty sure, and I'm really stoked on that.
We're speechless.
No, I was expecting someone to jump in. So I guess I will. What can I ask for a question? What does Michael David Wilson do again? Interesting. What's this thing? Throwing him under the
I
bus.
think he asks the guest how many books they can balance on top of their head.
Oh, I forgot about that.
69.
Nice.
Oh,
Patrick.
yeah. So good job with the agent. I mean, I don't know what to say. That isn't a common thing, and
No.
it's really important. I read early on that's like if you want to get a literary agent or whatever, look to see what writers you like and see who represents them. That's a good indicator that that's someone you may want. Not to grab the first agent that you have.
Yeah.
Paul Tremblay said that a no agent's better than having a bad agent. He had a bad agent for his first time around, and I don't know what happened, but it's Paul's like super nice. So that's like you're turning dark again, man. Audio listeners, Shane is surrounded by darkness with red lips. It's very odd to look at all at once. It's not happening again. So tell us about your hat real quick. It says Hawk, and I love the artwork.
Yeah, so it's a hat that says Hawk, Hawk. I do have to spell it because all my life people think it's Hock, or my last name is Hank, or a number of things. Maybe some hosts call me Sean on accident, uh, and it just
Ugh,
happens.
sorry, my bad.
No, who cares?
Cheap shot.
That's like my whole life, and I think that's pretty common for a lot of people, to be honest.
Wait, Pat, you
Um,
called him Sean?
One time, my bad.
Oh,
Cassie,
But
the best part of that is that it got edited out, but he
Yeah.
told him anyway.
Yeah.
like I'm close enough with Shane where or Sean, I'm not sure at this point which one. Tony Hawk, which
Sean Hank.
yeah, my wife asked me if I'm talking to Tony Hawk's cousin tonight. So shout out to my wife. Hey,
Yeah, I'm a
she
pro
doesn't listen to
skater.
the show, so it's fine. Uh,
At this point, it's literally just Bill Gates.
not even Melinda. She's like, oh, I got time. I got a charity to run. What the fuck were we talking about?
We were talking about horror.
Oh yeah, getting
So
an
Patrick, what got you into horror?
Oh god, don't ask me that. Put me on the spot, man. I would like to talk about your photography though. It's beautiful.
Let's
You
do
do a
it.
great job. Tell us about it. How'd you get into it? You're doing it again, so plug yourself.
Yeah. So I don't really know why it started, but I mean, I guess one of my first majors, I wanted to be a movie
I'm
director.
sorry, your lips are so red and the rest of it's so dark.
Audio listeners, turn on YouTube so you can witness this.
How does one turn on YouTube while they're listening to a show? Like, would you sync it up or?
You just ask
Science and
Siri.
technology.
Why do you have red lips? I mean, that's fine that you do, but it seems a character for you.
They keep flashing in and out. It's so distracting.
This is really not appropriate, Shane.
I'm sorry. It's just a throwback to Sin City, you know.
You keep saying that, but I don't think that's the truth.
I mean, this is just inspired, you know. You had a question. I forgot what it was already.
Your photography.
Oh yeah, photography. What is photography? So it's like when you get a camera and you point it at an object. You want to capture it. You got to do the rule of thirds. No, I don't know. I don't remember the reason why I got into it. I was really into movies. I was a movie buff, a movie nerd. I wanted to get a degree where it helped me somehow work with movies. So I always had like an eye for different scenes and stuff. Obviously, never pursued that. Maybe I will with writing because apparently you can be a writer and a screenwriter. Um, but somewhere, somehow, I started getting into Instagram back when Instagram wasn't just overtaken by like these amazing, crazy pro photographers. So I luckily had my chance back then. I used just an iPhone, and it was like a big community back then. Like you do like these things called Insta meets, and you'd meet up with all these random internet strangers, which was kind of scary.
Sounds like a terrible idea.
No, actually, quick side note. One of my favorite stories in my life is going with four internet strangers from LA to Utah overnight, and I never met him before.
Nice. That's a horrible, horrible idea.
They
I'm
flew-
glad you're not my child.
Yeah, I'm not dead yet, but they flew
Yeah.
from Florida to LA, picked me up in a rental car, and we drove from LA after the sunset because we were photographers. And we drove all the way to Zion National Park. And I think I got out, took a piss, and put on a headlamp, and we started hiking up like 6,000 feet. And we got up there for sunrise, and it was crazy.
Thank you for telling us about the piss part. I think that served as a purpose for some reason that went over my
Yeah.
head.
It
It's a
relieved me.
crucial detail.
Yeah. The big thing was Instagram. Just making friends on there, making a big following. I've always been a troll, so I got in trouble on there for pointing out people who stole pictures, who stole people's art, and I've always been vocal in trying to protect people. And you make a lot of enemies that way. So then I kind of like started leaving that space and just kind of stopped doing it. But I was really into photography and taking pictures of stuff, and that's how I met my now fiance, Tori. Hi, Tori. She'll probably listen to this.
She doesn't listen to the show.
And it was a cool thing to meet her on there. It wasn't like that typical, you know, like a random hot chick and then you slide into DMs as I hear. No, it was nothing like that. It was I had a bunch of photography shots. She liked them at random. At that time, I had a bunch of notifications all the time, and I just randomly saw her, list of like 3 likes. Clicked on it, saw she was at the local college. I was like, oh, cool. And I liked some of hers, and then somehow we followed each other. And then she started getting into photography, and then we became friends, and they started dating, and then now I'm gonna marry her next year. And we're actually making wedding plans right now. So that was because of Instagram. Thank you, Bill Gates.
Is it a Bill Gates product?
No, but it should be, right?
I mean, that guy's got enough fucking money for 1 million people. So no, I don't think it should be.
But yeah, I really want to get back into photography. Obviously, we couldn't last year because of travel restrictions, and I'm getting really dark, so
So dark.
I needed my red lipstick again.
There's no lipstick. There's nothing. The darkness has you.
Audio
You have to
listeners.
reapply.
I'm so sorry, audio listeners.
Audio listeners are just like, what is he talking about? What is she talking about?
Who is Sean Hank? No, but
Listen,
I really
Shane, you got to be serious for the next 2 seconds, or I don't know, you're fired from being my co-host.
All right. Oh, I'm a co-host now. Holy crap!
Wait a minute. Hang on. How did you?
That was
you
a
get
fast
promoted?
promotion.
Yeah, I had to do like 2 episodes before I got that.
Oh man. Well,
so I just
Shane
really want to
slid
get
in
back.
my DMs.
actually
So
happen.
so who gets demoted to guest?
Dude, there's no rules to this show. It doesn't matter.
Are we going to
I'll
pivot the
take it up
business
if no one
model?
else is willing. I would like to talk about my splatter western at some point.
What?
Yours?
Wait,
No.
Oh, mine?
he definitely said yours.
Oh,
It was a joke that went horribly awry.
Oh,
I'm not used to this. This is Patrick's territory. My jokes always land.
Oh,
This is
no.
terrible.
How rude.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, so tell us about Brennan's Splatterpunk series.
So Brennan is writing a splatter western that takes place in Hawaii during the Old West. And there's a
Who's
lot of
talking
coconuts.
right now?
Yeah,
I figured what's more west than Hawaii?
exactly. It's the furthest west you can get until you start, getting into the east. It's crazy. There's like a border in the ocean. So there's a lot of coconuts, and this is my NPR voice, and there's a lot of violence over the coconuts, and that is
Over
the
the
gist of the
coconuts.
story.
on top of them, like not with the coconuts. The coconuts
Over.
do not have anything to do with the violence. It's just
No,
happening
no.
above them.
Yeah. They're just part of the setting.
Yeah, they're on the floor hanging out.
Yeah. For audio listeners, there's only enough. It is so dark on Shane's screen now that he pretty much just looks like the state of Florida. There we go. All right. So, Shane, tell us about your splatter western.
My splatter western.
Nice.
I'm going for 40,000 words, a novella. It is due, I think, late summer to Jared at Death's Head Press. It's called Untamable Creatures. I took that title from, what's his name? L. Frank Baum. He created The Wizard of Oz. Turns out he was really into Indian genocide. Whoops, the screen? And
Like in what kind of way, though?
so after the Wounded Knee massacre that was in 1890, he penned in, I guess you'd call it an op-ed, and he basically called Indians untamable creatures, and he said, this is pretty decent, but to get rid of all of them, we should just exterminate the rest, and called them untamable creatures. And I thought it would be kind of an FU to use that term and kind of rework it into a horror story. And I'm currently writing it, and I hope to have it done before all my other crazy projects going on.
So, you're talking about the dude that wrote The Wizard of Oz, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love that. I love that movie.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah. Huh. What a dick. He's not allowed on this show.
Yeah, I think he's dead by now.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that wasn't written that far.
Hey, look,
right?
my camera has flash.
Hey, so are you related to Tony Hawk?
Yeah, so Tony and I go way back. He's actually my dad, and the influence for a pro skater was actually me. I used to kickflip off of 2 stairs and land the tray flips, and he was really taken aback by that. Decided to team up with Neversoft, and it was a pretty neat deal. I still get royalty checks.
Interesting enough, I am Bob Burnquist's son. Can't you tell by the glasses? And I guess that's about it.
Hey, fun story. I went to his house once.
Hey, fun story. That's not true.
No, it's true. When he had the loop in his backyard.
I can't tell if you're being for real now.
For real.
Tell us about that.
Okay, so I went to Bob Burnquist's house. My friend Mark Unwin was a skater, and I could do the ollie where you don't land it. You just kind of kick up and then do not land it. And so I still had all these skater friends, and he invited me over to Bob Burnquist's house. And that's at the time, what was it, early 2000s. They had what's called the loop. It's a very cool ramp where you can go, in a loop. And that was fun. He gave us free Capri Suns.
Okay.
Mountain cooler.
Capri Suns are fantastic. We love Capri Suns on this podcast.
Yeah, and if you're a kid like me, you do not use the official hole. You create a hole in the bottom.
Wait,
right?
what?
So you're butt chugging it,
No, well, a butt chug is something separate. I think that's Steve-O's territory.
No, that's what I do with my plants. See, my boyfriend, he tells me not to call it that too, and I don't understand why not, because it's when I put my plants in the tray with water and they drink it from the bottom, they're butt chugging. So I'm always like, look, my plants are butt chugging. It's so cute. And Rich is like, don't say that.
Yeah, probably don't say that manually.
You can say ass sipping.
Ass sipping? You think that's better than butt chug?
No, that's my contribution to this conversation.
No, but you get the Capri Sun, and on the top is a hole. No, you don't do that. You turn it upside down, and you go on the bottom. You make your own hole.
Does it matter where you make the hole? Do you make it in the seam, or do you make it right in the middle?
It depends on the day of the year.
What about on the 22nd of March?
So that's more on the left, probably the second quadrant.
That makes sense. Okay.
I'm not following any of this conversation right now.
Erica, you want to jump in with a question for the guest?
Yeah, I want to talk about your hatred for cilantro. Cilantro? Can't speak.
Yeah. People call it cilantro. I should probably start calling it that because I hate it so much.
Oh,
I think that people in the UK call it coriander. They're wrong, but it's called cilantro. It's terrible. It's a vile weed, as they say. And everyone asks me, "Do you have the soap? Does it taste like Dawn soap?" And I've never tasted Dawn soap, but I've tasted cilantro, and it's terrible. So
Is that the
it's
answer?
bad.
That's not a good answer. Make it
It's not.
funnier.
All right, so
try again. Thanks. But next.
I mean that's a true story. I've tried cilantro and I don't like it.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Cilantro?
Cilantro.
Yeah.
Would you consider trying dish soap to compare the two?
Yeah, no problem.
We'll wait.
Yeah, on camera.
On camera? Oh. Well, if it's good enough for oily ducks, it should be good enough for me.
It did.
It did save the ducks. They're still milking that on the
They're
commercials.
milking them.
You
Yeah,
can't milk.
That's how they get the Dawn soap.
You can't milk ducks, fucker.
You can milk anything with nipples, Greg.
That's such a great. I love that movie. That one's so funny.
Audio listeners, I do not apologize.
Audio listeners, Shane just showed his nipples and said, "You can milk me, fucker."
We will not cut that out.
No. All right, I don't know where we go from this. Do we just say bye and like text
So,
each other?
Patrick, what's your favorite snack?
What a ridiculous question. But it's cheese.
What kind of cheese?
Is cheese a snack?
Yes, cheese is
Cheese-
everything.
Cheese is a full meal, bro.
I used to work at this grocery store as a dairy clerk, and
You only sold cheese?
I may or may not have tried the product, and by try I mean the whole hard cheese thing.
Did you butt chug it? Like a whole block of cheddar?
I don't think you chug cheddar. Okay,
I ass sipped it.
You could chug anything.
if you try hard enough.
Fucker.
This is what happens when you put me on camera. I say stupid things. You see this whole episode.
I don't even know what's happening anymore.
People have to have fun,
That's
There's
not
so
true.
there's so much sadness out there.
Like what?
You gotta liven
Name
things
one
up.
thing.
Coronavirus.
Oh,
19.
whoa!
Yes,
too
that's a
too
good one.
soon.
That's a throwback.
It's a throwback.
It is now, yeah. It's like what, 2 years old now?
Well, remember we talked about how we didn't know when people would be listening to it. It could very well be a throwback by the time somebody listens to it.
It's true.
Yeah, see.
Might
If
not
they have a
be-
time machine too, they could bring it from the future to the past, and then it could be just like
Speaking of time machines, Back to the Future, probably the best trilogy ever.
better than Godfather. I'm
What is Godfather?
just joking.
I don't know your family, Patrick.
We're Italian.
Is that an
obviously.
Irish movie? The Irish Mafia?
Like The Departed?
Oh, that's a good movie.
That is a good. That has Leonardo DiCaprio, right?
Yes.
That's the only reason I watch it.
I
Because
couldn't
he gets
tell.
shot in the face.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
does he? I don't remember that.
Way to ruin the ending, dude.
Audio listeners, if you haven't watched The Departed that came into the mainstream 2006, you're doing a disservice.
Why is it only audio listeners? I feel like the video ones.
Well,
So-
I just like talking to them more.
When I first
people
saw
Oh,
that,
you just alienated a lot of video watchers.
No, the video watchers know. They understand already. Audio listeners are in a different world.
You sent them to YouTube, and then you kept talking to the other people who did not go to YouTube.
That's how you got to do marketing, I guess.
Shane, how are you gonna pull me out of this spiral and tailspin when I have no listeners?
We can just switch the business model to ASMR.
Sure, man. If that works for you, it can work for me. So, you guys want to talk about upcoming projects for Shane or Sean, either one? Even though we've talked a whole lot about it. Okay, no one gives a shit about that. Why don't we jump into
Yeah, Shane Hawk. Who gives a fuck about that guy?
if this is the first episode someone's listening to, they're probably gonna think I'm a dick.
They're probably gonna follow me on Twitter and notice I'm not too funny on Twitter. Be sad.
Set up your game.
I should.
Do you guys want to talk about what you're currently reading?
I have another question, but it's a serious question that I was scared to ask because I didn't want to change up all the jokes.
Serious? Okay.
Go for
You're
it.
not going to get a serious answer as long as
Yeah.
you know that going in. Please feel free.
Just look on my lips. They're serious.
Well, I just wanted to talk about your shop and what you're doing with donating money right now. You just tweeted about it recently with all the proceeds.
Right. So it wasn't my shop, but it was like book royalties. I was hoping. All right, so it's kind of mixed bag. So Amazon doesn't pay like a lot of royalties because I set my prices low. You know, because it's my first book, Anoka, and I want people to be able to afford it. And I said, I think it was April 20th. I said, hey, from the 20th to the 30th, I'll donate all my book royalties to the First Nations Development Institute. And so I think, I forget how many units I sold, but I got $80 in royalties. And so I rounded it up to 100. And so I already donated earlier today, and someone reached out and said, hey, I'll triple that. And then, so I think tomorrow it'll be 300. So Native communities they were really hit by COVID-19. And this fund will really help some communities out. I don't know. That's like the gist of it. Very basic donating.
Perfect. Yeah, I was mixing two things. I wanted to talk about like your t-shirt designs and the royalties, but I just merged it all into one because I panicked
no worries.
halfway through.
Yeah, I set up the merch to get me by during, because I lost, well, not lost, I guess I temporarily lost my wages for all of December and late November because of COVID. And so I really needed some money. So I was seeing if people could support me by buying a shirt or whatever it was, or a mug. And so I set that up, Black Hills Press. That is my self-publishing imprint. I still plan on publishing through there. If I ever come up with something that isn't widely marketable by my agent. So everything I write has to go to her first. That's just kind of how the contracts work. And if she deems it as something that's, can't really be in Barnes & Noble or whatever, I could just publish it myself whenever I want. And so the merch was just kind of to get my name out there too, and just to have fun. So I hired like artists to create some designs and sold those. But just like my book, I set all the prices to be pretty low, almost like just above cost. So I didn't make like a bunch of money off of it. I made it like each item I probably made like $1 or $2, $3 tops. And that was fun. I don't know. Maybe I'll do another design soon, but I have a lot of other stuff going on. But it was fun to see people actually like support me. Just aside from the book, like it takes a lot to like get someone to read your stuff, and then to care enough about like trying to spread your name to like buy a shirt. It was really cool to see.
Sure. Yeah, I love seeing just random people posing in their t-shirt design. Like I'm always obsessed with it. Like I'm wearing it right now. You can't really see it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, nice.
I set my
one of
computer too high.
No worries. One of my favorite ones that I saw was the editor of Nightmare Mag, Wendy Wagner. She bought a shirt from me and like posted about it, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. Yeah.
Awesome, man. And also, speaking of stores, Cassie, why don't you tell us about yours?
Talk about it.
Just plug it.
Why are you doing this to me?
Cassie, Bill Gates is listening. Plug it.
Billy
I-
Gates.
I have a Bill Gates, dear Bill, sir. I have the thing for you.
William.
Rainbows and tarot books. I have what? Why? Audio listeners, you missed out on some good gold, so you go to YouTube. My shop, I sell art and then I make books and bookmarks and resin stuff. And I just recently released 2 books, I think, in the last couple of months. The Final Girls coloring book and then a plant journal. And then also I have a mug, a Buffy the Vampire Slayer mug that's on sale for this month or until the middle of this month. Yay.
Nice.
Very cool.
Awesome. Fantastic. Now let's go to what is everybody currently reading? Who would like to go first?
I'll take over
Okay,
as
all right.
main host.
Okay.
I lagged out,
And you
didn't I?
lost your hostship. Sorry, man.
Yeah. We passed it on.
You've been
Oh, well.
demoted.
Also, I'm the guest now.
Yeah, so
Okay.
guest host
We're-
Cassie, here we go. So for your art, I like your
She said guest dummy.
what?
She said she's the guest.
Oh
now.
yeah. So guest Cassie Daly, author of Anoka. So for your art,
I don't know. I don't think I did that.
Oh, yeah, I'll have to Google it. So for your art, I saw the coloring book for the horror authors. I was gonna ask you, did you ask their permission first, or did you totally like draw them and say, "Hey, you want to be in this book," or like how did the process work?
So I had a list and then I messaged or emailed all of them and then they agreed. And then I asked them which kind of monster, like I gave them a list of like 4 or 5 monsters and then asked them to pick one. And then
Cool.
I drew half of them as a monster and the other half as their regular normal selves.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Did you have any horror author that said, "No, I want to keep a private life"?
So no, so I can answer this, but I can't say who it was. There was somebody I asked, but they're apparently, they write with somebody else and that's not known publicly.
Oh,
So they couldn't, or they didn't feel comfortable being in the
Right.
book as the author themselves. And since they couldn't include the person that writes with them,
okay.
yeah, but they're really great and there's no hard feelings or anything. I totally
Yeah.
understood. So that's good. And then everybody else said yes, which thankfully, like I was so worried. I didn't think people would say yes. So yeah, it was cool.
That's cool. So they're like a half ghost writer. They're
Yeah, I
halfway
didn't
into
ask
the-
too much. It seemed like they were very kind of secretive about it. And I was like, oh, I don't want to push. I'm sorry. It's fine. No problem. I still buy your books.
Right. Yeah.
Was that Shane Hawk?
Yes, that's exactly who it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it all
Noted.
comes around, doesn't it?
Let's jump into what are you guys currently reading? Shane Hawk, go first, sir.
All right, right
pronounced
now.
Sean.
Sorry, Sean.
Yeah, so Sean Hank,
Hank.
I'm currently reading 2 books. So one is Tome by Joff. What did I just say? Joff?
Joff?
His new name is Joff.
Is it Joffrey?
No, Ross Jeffrey. Not Joff. Hey, Ross. Don't be
Ross
mad.
Jeff?
Don't
Jeff
be mad,
Ross?
Ross. So Ross Jeffrey Tome. I bought that. I actually bought a book from each of the co-hosts of the live stream I was on yesterday. My plan was to read all their work before the show, but alas, it didn't work. It didn't work out. But I'm currently reading Tome. I'm also reading Michelle Good's 5 Little Indians. She is represented by Rachel, who's also my agent. So I kind of want to go through all the books that my agent represented just to like show support. And this is the second one that I'm on.
Nice. Erica or Cassie?
Sorry, I tried to unmute. I was just Googling because I forgot the titles of what I was reading.
Is it by Joff?
Or Ross?
Unfortunately, no. I am in a readathon by somebody named Rick, though. So our name, kind of.
Yeah.
Hey, Rick. Shout out
Really
to Rick.
bad at making those connections, but
Rick Ross?
Squirrel?
I'm blanking on his.
Rick Joff.
DJ Khaled.
Now you guys are just making me panic. Richard Martin, that's his name.
Hey,
Oh, never mind.
I know him.
Yeah, so he's doing the Rick's
Okay.
Read-along on Instagram, and it's been a lot of fun. They're on the second book now by Gemma Amore. So I say we're, I don't know how many people are taking part, but it's Cruel Works of Nature that's up now. And then the next one is White Pines. So I'm very excited to reread that one. And I'm also rereading the Cabin in the Woods novel. Oh boy,
Novelization.
That word, thank you.
Miracle.
It's
We're
him,
watching that one this month for my movie party for the Rainbow Reel. You should come. We're gonna watch it.
Yeah, that's my favorite horror movie.
That and Insidious are my two favorites, and we're watching them both this month. I'm so excited. You should come.
It's such a
It's an
fun
awesome movie.
Yeah, it's
I
such a
want to
fun
watch those
movie.
movies on repeat for the rest of my life, just over and over again, because I feel like every time I watch them, I notice something new too. And then when you watch it with other people, they notice things that you didn't notice the first time. And you're like, bitch, where the fuck did you come from with that? Like, I didn't know about that. Like, I didn't even see that the first time. You might want to edit that. I don't know if that was.
Yeah, that's like having a beta reader.
Yeah.
It's like, how did you find that?
Brennan's done that for me. He's read something that I've written and he's like, oh, I noticed this. And I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I did that on purpose. Totally.
So
Of
did
course,
choose
you
this
say
motif
I
on
didn't do that
purpose?
on purpose, and then you come back with, wait a minute, no, I did.
yes, totally. That was intentional.
No, but it's too late now.
Did you intentionally make commentary on inner city gangs in this one line, Cassie? Yes.
All right, so
That sounds like me.
The whole chat just died. I'm sorry.
So Cassie, what are you currently reading?
Oh, I'm prepared for this one. I have
Nice.
2 books and I can show you them because
Oh, I love it.
Ooh.
okay. So this one is God is a Filth by V. Castro. And I'm really excited. I really like the cover. I don't know if you can super see it because it's getting dark in here because the sun's going down. But the spine is also really cool because it's got like this actual spine on it, which I
Ooh.
like the bones. I'm a fan of the bones.
Good
So
choice.
yeah. And then this one, Children of Chicago by Cynthia. I don't know if it's Paleo or Palayo, so I'm going to say both just so I'm safe.
The latter.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. I'm almost done with that one. And then halfway through this one, which I actually started this one digitally, and then Sina sent it to me once it got released as a hardcover. So I stopped reading it digitally because I wanted to save it. So when I got the book, and then I got it, and I've had like a reading slump, so I put it off, and then I started it again like a couple nights ago, and I was like, oh, I don't know how I even stopped this. Like, I just want to keep going. So yeah, I should be finished with it in a few days.
Nice.
It's really
I just
good.
finished that one.
Yeah, did you like it?
Yeah.
Not to put you on the spot or anything.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Brennan, what are you currently reading?
I have Children of Chicago coming my way, hopefully this week, and then I will try really hard to get to it. My currently reading pile is, no lie, about a foot tall right now because it's got some really thick books in it. But
Those are 4 books?
it's I think I have like 4 books going right now that are like 500 or 600 plus pages, which is
Holy
just
moly.
not smart. But actually the one I'm kind of really into right now, and I'm going to butcher her name, so on the off chance that she is listening to this with Bill Gates, I apologize, but I think it's Viclame Mist has her vampire series, and I absolutely blasted through the first one, and I'm about 60% done with the second one. Looking to read the one she just put out before she comes on the show in a couple weeks. But they're really fun. I'm really enjoying the books. They're very fast paced. There's not, they're like 250, 300 page books, I think. And there's like not a dull moment in them. So I'm really enjoying them.
Yeah, it's like
Patrick.
a vampire trilogy, right?
Yes. I think that I want to say it's an ongoing series, as in I think she's working on book 4 now. I don't know if she has plans to take it further than 4, if she's going to send it into space at some point, but I'll keep reading it.
I'm reading Tim Myers' awesome new tome, where I'll butcher the fucking title. So it's a long book. It's coming up through Silver Shamrock. And
What's the title?
Oh, I don't remember. What's it called? Malignant Summer?
That's
There
the
you
one.
go.
Good work.
Yeah.
Such a cool cover too.
It
It
is a
does.
neat cover. And the other one is Haley Piper's upcoming collection.
Oh.
Nice. I read that one.
Oh, I forgot to say that one. I just got that one in the mail like yesterday, but I haven't even taken a picture of anything or anything of it yet. Sorry.
Oh, it's all good. Yeah, so those are fun. Shane, where can people follow you?
Down the street. No, but online. Twitter.com. Have you guys heard of it? It's a little bird app. Shane Hawk. That's my name.
Is it for bird enthusiasts or is it like?
Yeah,
bird?
that's why I'm allowed on there because my last name. But no, my handle is Shane Hawk with an extra K at the end. So if you know how to spell, it's ShaneHawk. And or else just go to my name.com.
My name.
Is it
Shane
actually?
Hawk.
Yeah.
ShaneHawk.com. Not my name.com.
So now I got a little newish segment where I ask everybody what their final thoughts are. So.
Oh, we're doing that again?
Yeah.
I thought it was new.
Ish.
He said newish, so.
Oh, true.
I get away with it. So, Shane, what are your final thoughts as you sip a cup of something? I don't know what it is.
Of your head.
Of my head.
This is a super, super good. It's room temperature agua. My final thoughts are I had a lot of fun here. Hopefully people had fun listening. I know we're goofing off a lot. There's some serious discussions in there, but you really have to look hard. But I had a really good time. You guys are awesome, and thanks for having me on here.
Sweet. Yeah, no problem. Erica, what are your final thoughts, if any, or sounds?
Just a comment that my cheeks are so sore from laughing this whole time. I'm ready for this to be over as much as I love all of you.
That's fair. Cassie.
I don't normally have people staring at me for this long, so it's really awkward and uncomfortable.
That was creepy.
No, this is really fun, and I'm glad we could do this. Also, I've just got to get that shade of lipstick from you, Shane, because it's just so flattering.
It's popping.
Thank you. The shade is actually called Malignant Summer.
Oh, I saw that in the store, and I thought it was Malignant Summer.
Like,
you guys are making fun of a sick boy.
Misaligned
Summer. Brennan Hawk, what about you, buddy?
Lots of people think that shade is French, but it turns out it's not. So on a
my cheeks hurt now.
On an attempted serious note, yeah, Shane, pleasure to have you on. We've been looking forward to it for a long time. You know, besides the reschedule and all that, a long time even before that. You're doing big things, you know, bursting on the scene, and it looks like there's no end in sight, and good for you, man.
Appreciate that, man. Thanks.
Can I just, bursting gave me such a visual. I just pictured him like the Kool-Aid man just coming into the horror community like, hey.
I just
bursting, ass chugging, all that.
Butt chugging, bursting.
Oh, that's right. It was butt chugging.
Butt chugging and ass sucking, ass slurping,
ass sipping.
Ass
it definitely wasn't any of those last two.
All the above. So my final thought is I've had a real fun time. I love all you guys, and I'm glad that we could do this together. And I'm sure we'll do this again sometime, somewhere, someplace. Maybe at Shane's house. I don't know. So thanks a lot, everybody. Next episode is episode 91 with Lee Murray and Darren Kapoff. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. It might be French, you know. We're going to focus on mentorship and who knows what else. We don't know with this show. It gets silly sometimes. Shane, Erica, and Cassie, and Brennan, thank you for joining me today. It's been a pleasure. Listeners, thank you for surviving this long. And Shane, next time you come on, don't be so silly. This is a very serious show.
Very serious NPR voice next time.
Thank you. You have many choices in podcasts. Thank you for picking us. So yeah, I'm reading Tim Myers' is Malignant Summer. And,
that's bad.
I don't think that's.
Ooh, where's the edit button?
Malignant.
Oh shit.
Did you think it was French?
No.
All right, let's rewind.